My goodness, this package is freaking heavy. It's the thing we're going to use for this project. I'm super excited to open it up. Let's open it! There's so much stuff in here. There is, oh my god, fancy Italian balsamic. I love this chocolate. It's so sweet. No, this is turning into an unboxing video. Kinder Eggs. So much Kinder chocolate. It's my favorite. Nutella biscuits. The big, oh gosh, it's heavy. This is the actual thing we're going to use in this project, and it's so damn heavy. My hands are shaking. Oh my god. Oh, it's beautiful. Good luck with this. It's hard as blip. I'm gonna treat you like my firstborn child. And the back. Oh my god. This is gonna be insane. So good. So these metal covers are incredibly awesome. They were made by my good friend Goddard over at Blackbeard Projects, and he cast them in aluminum, and it just blows my mind how he does it. He's made a video on it, so you should check it out. I'll leave a link to it down below. But we are going to turn this into a metal bound tome. And thank you, Goddard, for making this. It's so awesome. But before we start turning these into an actual book, I have to sketch down some designs to figure out what kind of design I want on these covers. So I'm thinking that because this is just pure aluminum, it could fit pretty well with like a dwarven kind of aesthetic with just lots of sharp and hard lines. And I'm planning to do both etching and carving on this one, so all the dark parts you see on the sketch is going to be etched. And in the end, I think this is going to be a really cool design. But before we can get into the actual metalworking, we have to make the text block of paper that is going inside these covers. And hell yeah, I'm gonna stain them! My goodness, this is a lot of paper. Hansi and I spent the past 2 days just staining paper. Thank you so much, by the way. But there are still a couple of things left to do. We gotta make the holes, stitch the paper together, make a bookmark, and also sew the headbands. So let's do that real quick. This is indeed a thick boy, probably the thickest boy I ever made. I know I brushed over this bookbinding stuff, but if you want a more like step-by-step tutorial, then we have a bookbinding course over at nerdforge.academy if you're interested. So the basic text block is finished. We basically got everything that is going inside the metal covers done. But now the real challenge begins, because I've done books in the past, but I've never really worked with metal. There are mainly two things I want to do to create my design, and that is carving and etching. And I know there are so many ways of doing both of these things, but for the carving I am going to use some diamond burrs on my Dremel, and luckily Blackbeard sent me this piece that I can try my techniques on and try to get the hang of it before I do it on the actual piece. I got my particle mask here and some safety glasses. Hans is currently using the just pure clear ones, so I'm gonna be a crazy scientist. First time carving. This is impossible. But I did manage to make a kind of cool texture with like a round head diamond burr bit. I might be able to use that for something. I think I'm just gonna move on to the etching, and hopefully that will look so good that I don't have to do the carving. Etching, please be the solution to all my problems. Okay. We are currently outside because I don't know if the etching will cause any fumes, and it's better to be safe than sorry, so we're doing it outside. To do the etching, I'm gonna make a vinegar and salt solution, but to protect the areas that I don't want to etch, I'm gonna apply some nail polish. Just something like that. This is just for testing. But while we're waiting for this to dry, I'm just gonna make the vinegar and salt solution. I'm just gonna add salt to the vinegar until it doesn't dissolve anymore to make a saturated solution. Just add in a little bit by bit. At this point the audio cut off, but basically what I'm doing is just clipping on one of the crocodile clips to the book, which by the way should have been the positive one and not the negative, and grabbing the cotton swab in the other clip. I soaked it in the solution and pressed it onto the metal, and it started sizzling, just like it should. But it didn't really work at all the way I'd seen in other YouTube videos, and I didn't get the results I wanted. It looked very uneven and very patchy, so this whole evening just ended up being a long series of trial and errors. But I think in the end, I figured out a way to do it. And that brings me here. I guess this is just what happens after a day and a half of testing. Chaos. But after trying so many different things, I managed to make it work in the end. I had to file and sand down the surface first, and then instead of using nail polish, I ended up using masking tape to make the barrier between the salt vinegar solution and the metal, and that worked really well. It was super easy to make the straight, clean lines that I wanted, and I think the result looks pretty decent. It looks really good. A lot of things didn't work, but that worked in the end. So that's the way we're gonna do it. So basically now I have to sand down a lot of the surface on this metal, all the places where I'm gonna etch. So we better just get started, finally. I feel like my arms are about to fall off. That was like a day and a half, well, more like 2 full days of just sanding. To all the metal workers out there, I respect your grind. I'm sorry. Anyway, now it's time for an ad. Take it away, Martina from the past. Now, before we move on, I want to tell you about the greatest world building platform out there, World Anvil. We've talked about them before. They are the ultimate way to keep track of your world, whether you're a game master, writer, or game designer. Through their platform, you're able to make a full-fledged wiki for your world. You can create timelines, interactive world and city maps, extensive family trees, and articles on essentially any topic you want. Now you can also make diplomacy webs to keep track of the relations between noble families, mega corporations, or cities in your world. And it's really just a bonus that everything looks amazing. They also have a new novel software that easily lets you write and navigate your story while being able to look up anything in your wiki without disrupting your writing flow. On December 1st starts World Ember, which is their world building challenge where you can win different prizes. So if you want to take part in that challenge or just start building your own world, then check out the link down in the description. And back to the project. Oh, damn good coffee. I love it! It's like mirror. And now I'm gonna risk it all by etching it. I'm really nervous about this etching stuff, but it did work on the test. And I think it's gonna add just a lot to the design and kind of lift it and make it. So I'm gonna risk it. So now it's time to cut out the patterns with a scalpel, all the parts where I'm going to etch into the metal. But I gotta be super careful about this because if I slip with this knife, then that will leave super visible marks on the metal. And it's not gonna be possible for me to go through all the grits from the beginning to the top to get it as shiny again. That's just, no, that's not an option. So I really have to get all the lines done correctly on the first try. Steady hands, we can do this. I've been eating so much chocolate these past few days. I'm gonna begin with the back piece, just to get the hang of it in case I screw up, but I'm hoping I won't. And I'm gonna use the ruler to try to get the lines as straight as possible, and we're gonna go really, really slowly. So that's one line down and just 200 more to go. Oh, that's so satisfying. Look at those lines. We are currently in our tiny outside workshop because it's just much better ventilation here, and it's also raining outside, so we can't do it there. But we're gonna do the etching finally. And I'm gonna begin with the back piece first, as always. Always the back first. Everything's set up, I'm ready. Let's do this. It's good to be back inside. So I didn't film everything because it was super cold outside. It took me a couple of hours to do all of this etching. But now comes the most exciting part, which is removing the masking tape and seeing what this will actually look like. Can't get off fast enough. Ooh, those are some sharp lines. Ooh. Oh my god, it's so cool how it changes like based on which angle you see it from. I love it. Next, I want to see it all together. I think they look absolutely gorgeous, and just considering that this is my first metalworking attempt, I don't think it's too bad. We're going to need a couple of leather straps because this book is just, it's so thick and it can't even hold itself closed even though it's made of metal. And then we're going to add a couple of gemstones here on these circles. But first, straps. my god, this is the biggest, heaviest, craziest book project I've ever done, and it wouldn't have been possible without Blackbeard Project. So make sure to check out his channel and the video he did on casting the covers. And also thank you so much to our patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel and just letting us do crazy stuff like this. It's insane. And thank you so much for just going with me on this journey, which has been really, really a lot of fun. Now let's have a look at the final result.